Hello and good afternoon, or at least the Ecuadorian afternoon. This is Dave Edelstein for Better Than Before, here to talk to you about all things to do with mindfulness and relating and communicating and just getting along decently and better in life. Um, I do these videos on a daily basis with mixed results since they come out of my head on a semi-spontaneous basis. Hi, Payman. Um, and today I thought I'd go back to talking a bit about relationships because it's a core thing that I help people with, and because I had an interesting interaction today with someone who was very concerned, all upset. Um, and the situation, does have upsetting elements in it. For those viewers who are sensitive, you may think twice before listening to me go on. But the sensitive elements are that this young man and the mother of his child have been split since before the baby was born. Really, this was a relationship that never really worked out, except in the sense of having produced a lovely little child who is now 2 years old. And he said to me, I don't know what to do. She has, my ex has moved on with her life. She's, living with another guy, and I'm not seeing my daughter as often as I'd like. And it makes me really angry. And whenever I speak to my ex, I get really, really angry. And the first thing that I was able to advise him, hi, Marion. The first thing that I was able to advise him is something that really comes from mindfulness. The only thing we can control in life is ourselves. We can't control other people. We can't even control the co-parent of our children, whether we're married to them or not. We can't control them. They are adults, and they are going to do whatever they may legally do. They may even attempt to do some stuff that's illegal, and this can also be terrifying within the limits of our control. We may have to seek legal help to get societal control over truly dangerous or inappropriate behavior. Hi, Michelle. And it's important to remember at these stressful moments that the only thing we can control is ourselves. This young man can spend a lot of time imagining scenarios that are harmful to his child because of his anger at his ex. He can spend a lot of time fantasizing, worrying, really, creating terrifying scenarios where his ex and her new boyfriend will not be good to his child. But the child is also the mother's child. He would have to really make himself believe that this is a truly unfit parent, and not just because she's with someone else. He'd have to really consider, how does she treat her child? And he knows that the way that the mother treats their child, maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not ideal, no parent is, but it's not terrible. It's not frightful, it's not abusive, it's not wrong. He has to accept the reality of this situation, that he can't control it. What can he control? Only himself. He has rights to see his daughter. He can make sure that he gets to see his daughter on their scheduled appointments. There have been some issues about this. He does have legally recognized rights to visit with his daughter under conditions that are now changing. So perhaps he can get an adjustment in provisions to liberalize his chance to see his daughter. He has rights. And he should exercise them, because that's what he can control. He can only control the time he has with his daughter and maximizing the value of that to both himself and his child. If he sees her for 2 or 3 hours a week, the thing that he can offer is himself in that time. He can give his daughter the experience of himself, a self-controlled self, not with his mind divided about what the child's mother may or may not have done, or what their relationship may mean to him in relation to his child. But what kind of father he can be to his child in the limited amount of time that he has. Because if he uses that time well, as his child grows, she'll want to spend more time with him. As his child grows, there will be a necessary opening of the amount of time that they get to spend together. It may never be very much. It will never be the majority of the week. His ex has custody. He can't control that. He can only control himself. Now, here's where the power of self-control comes in. If this young man controls himself, he can make his time with his daughter optimal. He can do a great job. He has it within him. We all have it within us to be great parents if this is what we aspire to be, if this is how we feel about our children, if this matters to us, we can do it. Mostly what it acquires is mindfully focused attention on the things that your child says and does, and your self-controlled reaction to those things, your exploration of your child's ideas and feelings, showing your child that you care about everything they do because you're mindfully focused on everything they do when you're together. In this sense, having limited time access is helpful. It's very difficult to remain mindfully focused on your children when you're with them almost 24 hours a day, or when you're with them constantly, or when perhaps you're distracted by work, or just by needing a break, or by your own thoughts. It's very difficult to maintain that mindful focus. It's easier in this sense to maintain that mindful focus if your access to your child is limited. Yes, it can be painful. That's a reaction you'll have to control and deal with, because self-control is your power in this situation. Yes, you may feel pain, especially if you focus on how much time you don't have your child. You probably will feel a lot of pain. And that pain may not be deserved. You may have more parental instincts than the custodial parent. But legal structures are what they are. They make their determinations accordingly. So you have to mindfully put that pain aside and focus on being a parent, being a primary adult in a child's life. It's a huge responsibility. And it very much involves putting your external needs aside. And for those hours, those precious hours that you're with your child, to exercise self-control, which will give you the power to be an awesome parent. The kind of parent that your child will seek out when he or she is an adult. The kind of parent your child will choose to spend time with. You can't control some situations. You can't control your child's other parent. Even if you could, it would be wrong. They're an adult, they have rights. But you can control yourself. And by controlling yourself, you can transform yourself into being the best parent you can be. So with those thoughts, and as you probably know, I have been a extremely grateful parent, grateful for the opportunity to have raised my children. Definitely the best thing I've done in my life. Certainly the most satisfying. So with these thoughts about parenthood today, I hope I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll talk again about mindfulness, relating, communicating, and what have you. Have a good afternoon. Bye now.